Good Monday morning to you. I want to thank you for your prayers, your concern, your well wishes. I was down for a couple of days, and I'm almost totally back up, but felt a little bit like a 2-day flu. But I'm back, and I want to talk to you this morning, as I do every Monday morning, about the questions of Jesus. I want to float another one of his questions, and I call this the question because of all of the questions Jesus asked, this was probably the most important one. It really helps to put our life in perspective. But before I float the question, let me give you a little bit of context. Jesus' ministry is in full steam ahead. He's fed 4,000 people. This is the beginning of Mark chapter 8. And he's fed 4,000 people. He had previously fed 5,000 people. He heals a blind man. And then he turns to his disciples privately, and he wants to get a sense of the public perception of his ministry. And so he says to them, who do men say that I am? And they gave him some answers. Some say John the Baptist, some say Elijah. And then Peter stepped forward, the way he always stepped forward, and he says, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God," which was a good answer. And then things kind of go south, because Jesus then explains to his disciples that he must suffer and die and be raised in 3 days. And Peter would have none of this. He turns to Jesus and he scolds Jesus. And Jesus, seeing that the disciples are watching him, turns to Peter and scolds Peter right back. And then he teaches his disciples about what it really means to be a follower. Because Peter had the wrong idea of Jesus' ministry. He thought it was going to get better and better, and he was going to set up a kingdom, and it wasn't that way at all. Jesus explained that if you want to follow me, you must deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me. Not only would Jesus die, but every follower of Jesus must die to this world, must pick up the cross and follow Jesus. Now, after this, Jesus asks his disciples the question. Now, as I said earlier, Jesus very seldom asked questions to get information, because he was the Son of God. He knew all things. But usually he asks questions to get people to think, and that's what he does here. And so here's the question above all questions. He says, "What does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul?" And so Jesus basically was saying, if you have goals in this life and you put those first and foremost in your mind, and those are the things that are truly important to you, whether it's to have children or to buy a house, the perfect job, whatever it is, if you put those things first, and you're missing the real prize, because those things will pass away, and the time will come when your life will be required of you. Just like the story of the rich fool, remember him? His life was in full swing, and he was making money hand over fist. And so he decided he was going to put up more barns. So he started to build a barn, and that very night, his soul was required of him. His hour had come, and he was going to die. And so of what value at that point was all of the money that he'd laid up? And that's basically what Jesus is asking. What does it profit you if you pursue this or that in this world and lose sight of your own soul and the eternal life that Jesus came to offer? And the answer, of course, is it's worth nothing. There's no profit. There's no profit in that. To the contrary, it leads us away from God's purpose for our lives. So, for this Monday anyway, the lesson of that question is to keep your eyes on the prize. Keep your eyes on what God has prepared for you eternally. It doesn't mean you can't pursue other things and have goals in your life. And those are good. It's good to have goals and to pursue them, but never lose sight of the value of your own soul. So, have a wonderful Monday. God bless.